Hey guys, welcome back to the Veda Mindset podcast. If you're going through something really hard in life right now, or if you're going through a really big shift, then this episode is for you. I myself have been going through a really big shift in life. I've been going through a lot of changes, and honestly, it hasn't been easy whatsoever. And it honestly reminded me of how we view change to be this really scary thing. We are scared to go through big shifts in our lives because maybe this change means that we're going through a breakup, or that we're losing somebody, or that we're moving. And these things on the surface may seem like really hard things to go through, but in reality, they are only pushing us to grow. Sometimes really big shifts in life or really big changes come with painful endings. And these painful endings may make us feel like, life is crumbling, like we don't know what to do after this. Like everything we once knew is now completely gone. And we might view these situations as a bad thing, but I want this episode to make you shift your mindset on how you are viewing these hard times you're going through, or these really crazy changes your life is going through. I want you to first realize that change is not bad, and I think it's actually the gateway to up leveling your life. I want you to think about a time that you went through something so hard, that you went through something that changed your life so dramatically, and that in that moment you probably thought like, fuck, I hate this, like I have no idea what's gonna happen next. I want you to remember a time like that. And now I want you to look back and see how much your life has changed for the better because of that situation. For me, I can think of various moments that I literally was so depressed. Like, shit hit the fan in my life. I was losing people. I myself was going through really traumatic shit. And honestly, like, in the moment, you don't understand why that's happening. But of course, hindsight's 2020. Later on, you end up realizing, like, damn, that happened for a reason. It's almost like a butterfly effect. There are so many things in my life that would not have happened if I didn't go through that really hard situation, if I didn't lose that person, if those things in my life didn't fall apart. But also, these hardships we go through, that in it of itself isn't what up levels us. What up levels us is how we handle that hardship. Because the more you decide to resist the change, the more you try to keep someone that's not supposed to be in your life, the more you go against the current, the more you push back on what life is trying to do, the more you allow yourself to suffer. And the more you just allow yourself to sit in the suffering, you aren't allowing yourself to reap the benefits that may come with this hardship because you're so focused on what you're losing instead of what's to come. I myself operated this way for a while. Like, I would let myself sit in the suffering. I resisted change so fucking much. It's like life would present me with a hardship. Instead of accepting it and moving through the pain and creating something better from it, I would just completely self-detonate. I wouldn't allow myself to self-reflect. All I cared about was getting back the thing that life was trying to remove from me, that God or the universe was trying to take out of my life. And when you move through life like that, when you solely want to refuse the change, it's so hard for you to see the bigger picture on where this could be helping you, and instead you're only seeing like the little speck. Like, you're not understanding that this pivotal change, that this hard decisions you need to face, that these people that you need to let go are for a reason. You are refusing to see that this is solely for the ultimate good. So this is what I'm trying to explain first, that you need to begin letting yourself embrace change, embrace the hardship even though you don't understand why it's happening right now. Because you are solely paying attention to this little itty bitty part in the picture, but you're not looking at the huge picture. You're not able to comprehend where this hardship is going to take you through in life. How this hardship is actually going to benefit you at the end of the day. So like, let's say like you are going through a breakup in your relationship. I feel like I can relate this to that. Whenever you are trying to hold on to someone so hard that doesn't want to be held, like this person, you can tell energetically is supposed to be leaving your life right now, but you do not want to come face to face with that. You are constantly going against the current. You are constantly going against the grain. 9 times out of 10, when you do that, you end up leaving the relationship eventually, but with way more trauma because way more unfavorable circumstances unfolded. Whereas you could have left initially, or you could have accepted the breakup initially, where you wouldn't have left with that much pain. And that's what I mean. Like, some of you guys don't want to embrace the change. You guys are so scared of letting certain things go in your life. So you guys are like holding on to it so hard, even though you guys know you should let go, and you're holding on to it until it explodes in your face. What I want you to realize is understand when life is telling you to let go. When life is kind of nudging you and telling you, hey, you know, just because you're losing this person, you're losing this opportunity, you're losing this thing, that doesn't mean you're not going to get something better at the end. But you don't choose to listen to that. And when you don't choose to listen to that, you try to keep what life is trying to make you move on from. So that's what I really want you guys to firstly understand, how to go with the current. Like, don't push back on it. Don't go against the grain. I'm telling you guys, and I'm sure you guys know from experience, when you go against the grain, all you do is create more chaos for yourself. I myself can attest to this. There have been so many times in my life where I have refused to let go of my control. I have refused to let go of things that life was literally telling me, Veda, you gotta let go. And all that did was create more pain and stagnancy in my life. Like, my life stayed stagnant. So now the next thing I want you to understand is, when it comes to accepting change, when it comes to accepting the fact that you need to let go of things that life is telling you to let go of, only good can come from this. Only transformation can come from this. When you're in it, like I said, you cannot see the bigger picture. And that's just how humans are. We are solely paying attention to this one situation, and we don't give a fuck about what happens next. We just want to take control and fix the situation so we don't lose this person, thing, or opportunity. We fail to see the blessings that may unfold down the line. But once you really start to see that change and hardships only lead to grand transformation, that is when you become so powerful. That is when you're really able to transform your pain into something amazing. I want you to realize that the pain you're going through from these hardships that you're facing, or these really big changes in life that you're facing, you can begin using that pain as a catalyst for growth instead of using that pain as an excuse to stay stagnant in life. Many people continue to just sit and wallow in their suffering. They allow themselves to feel defeated. And I'm not saying that you can't feel your pain, because feeling your pain is pivotal. You cannot ignore your pain. You have to fully feel it. Allowing yourself to feel the pain through whatever you're going through is one of the bravest things you can do. I think those are the strongest people. The people who, pretend to have a wall up, pretend to not care, distract themselves, pretend like this hardship they went through didn't faze them. those are the weaker people because they refuse to feel the pain. The people who pretend like they're not upset, the people who pretend like nothing phases them, that they're happier, don't let that facade fool you. Those people are probably struggling the most because they live through their ego, that they are too embarrassed to admit to themselves how much pain they're going through. So like I said, it's not wrong to feel that pain. It's actually pivotal. And for those of you who allow yourself to feel that pain through whatever hardship you're going through, you are brave for that. But there's a difference between allowing yourself to feel the pain and then allowing yourself to continue suffering. In life, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. When I was going through some of my darkest times in life, there were certain points where I just was like so depressed, so like I don't want to be here anymore. I was like, laying on the bathroom floor crying, type of depressed. Like, that point where you just like don't give a fuck about anything and you just are like literally crying on the floor. I've been there. I'm sure everybody has. That feeling of defeat, that feeling of like powerlessness is so hard to go through. And I had gone through that feeling multiple times where I felt like I just had no control over my life. And not only did I feel like I had no control over my life, I was also so fixated upon the change that I was going through. I was so fixated upon what I was losing that I was failing to see the bigger picture. And after feeling that defeat enough times, after letting myself cry on the fucking floor enough times, after feeling like I hated my life and I just didn't know what to do and I felt like my life was a complete mess, after feeling that way so many times, I got fucking tired of it. I got so fucking tired of always feeling defeated every single time I went through a hardship. I felt so fucking tired of constantly victimizing myself throughout everything I went through. I felt so exhausted of only choosing to see the negative and never trying to see any positive outcomes that could come from this. So, with some growth and some maturity and a lot of experience, I finally got myself to change the way I viewed pain, to change the way I viewed hardships. I got to a point where I basically just decided, like, fuck it. I cannot let myself continuously sit in sorrow, because one thing about life that is constant is change and hardships. We're always going to go through something. That's just the duality of life. You cannot have happiness and joy in this world without also understanding the feelings of pain, loss, and sorrow. That is the life that we live in. So when I realized, life is forever changing, there's always gonna be somebody that I lose. There's always gonna be friendships that end. There's always gonna be new people to meet. There's always gonna be new people to lose. There's always gonna be opportunities to attain, opportunities to lose. Things are constantly changing. And when I realized this, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let myself fucking sit in my suffering anymore when something goes wrong. Anytime I go through a hardship, I'm gonna make sure it fucking transforms me. Every single time I get done wrong, every single time I go through something that literally brings me to my knees, like literally makes me feel like I don't want to be here anymore. Every time I go through something so hard, I know that this pain is only going to up-level me and up-level my life. And that is a promise I made to myself. I genuinely rewired my mind so that whenever I go through a hardship, instead of allowing myself to feel defeated, I allow myself to begin feeling empowered. Because I just know innately this pain that's brewing in me, this hardship that fucking stings is only going to create an upgraded version of myself. And that is the mindset I want you guys to take on. I want you to stop allowing yourself to feel defeated by the pain and hardships you're going through, by drastic changes that are happening in your life. I don't want you to let yourself victimize yourself and sit in this pain and sorrow and not understand that instead of sitting in this pain and sorrow, you can actually use it to cultivate something amazing out of your life. Once you have developed this way of thinking, literally your life will change because every single time you go through something hard, every single time someone screws you over, every single time you lose a relationship or a friendship, you know that somehow this is gonna make you fucking better and it's gonna make your life way better than it was previously. You know that it's only gonna upgrade you and your life. But sometimes, in order to cultivate this mindset, you gotta get really fucking tired of feeling defeated. I'm telling you, I had to hit rock bottom before I allowed myself to create something from my pain. You have to get so tired of feeling hopeless to finally realize how much power you truly have, how much power in you that you have to be able to transform your pain, to be able to cultivate amazing things through the hardships you're going through. Let's make this a bit practical. Let's say you are going through something really hard right now. You're going through a lot of pain. You're going through a really big shift and you're scared. And instead of letting yourself sit in this anxiety, sit in this sorrow, sit in the pain of all this change you're going through, I want you to start doing something with all this energy and emotion you have in you. And there's actually like a psychological term for this, and it's basically a defense mechanism called sublimation. Sublimation basically means you are using really hard emotions you're going through and you're putting that into something that's good for you. So you're going through something really hard, really painful, and instead of letting yourself sit in that sorrow, maybe you go to the gym or you go build your business or you pour into your craft. That's called sublimation. You are using these lower emotions that you're feeling and you're pouring it into something that can benefit you. I mean, I feel like many of us who do sports, like I do jujitsu like every single day, and I use jujitsu for that a lot. Like I'm going through a hard time. Okay, great. I'm gonna go fucking train my ass off today and work really hard on my technique. That's what I'm gonna do to just translate this pain into something beneficial. So that's one thing you can begin doing now. Whatever hardship you're going through, whatever really hard emotions you're processing, go fucking put that into something that's gonna benefit you. Go all in into your career. Go all in into your passions, into your sports, into your craft. Instead of letting these hard emotions harbor in you, go put them into something else. Go transmute this energy into things that will benefit you in the long run. And by putting your pain and your emotions into an activity, that doesn't necessarily mean like I'm telling you to distract yourself, because distracting yourself from the pain and using your pain to benefit you are two completely different things. There's one way where you guys are going through hardship and then all you do is party your ass off and drink every fucking weekend and do nothing for your life. That is distraction. That is you refusing to feel the pain. And then there is using your pain to build something better for yourself, using those emotions to pour into your craft, to pour into your passions. Both of these outlets provide momentary relief from the pain you're going through, but only one of them actually benefits you in the long run. At this point, whenever I go through hardships, whenever I have somebody hurt me, or I just go through something that's really unexpected or a drastic change in my life, I almost get excited. Although I'm going through a lot of pain, I know deep down that this is only going to benefit me. I actually get excited to undergo hardships, because at least for me, I thrive under drastic change. I thrive under uncertainty because I am more scared of letting myself wallow in the hardship and being stagnant. So I just know that I have to do something, that this pain that I'm going through cannot be in vain. Because there's no fucking way I'm gonna let life pass me by. There's no fucking way I'm gonna allow myself to victimize myself and sit in the suffering for more than I need to. Because, like I've said, I've been there. I've done that. And there's no fucking way I'm gonna let my life just pass me by because I'm too distracted over things that are supposed to be getting out of my life. I want you to get to a point where you are no longer scared of changes that may unfold in your life, that you are no longer scared of loss, that you are no longer scared of uncertainties. Because the people who are scared of change, the people who are so scared to lose things or to lose others, those are the people who attach themselves to every single thing in person that is currently in their life. These people just don't know who they are without these attachments. When you let yourself stay attached to other people or other things, or just the way your life is right now, when you are so attached to what you have, you are in for a rude awakening. Because if there's one thing about life that is constant, it is change. And I think I already mentioned that. Change is the constant thing in life. And it's when you understand that and when you accept that, that you live a happier life. You gotta learn how to embrace change. You gotta learn how to embrace uncertainty. You have to accept the fact that sometimes you don't have control over what's happening. You don't have control over the shifts that are taking place in your life. And the more you try to grasp on for control, the more harm you're doing to yourself. So if you're going through something hard, if you are losing a connection, if things in your life are changing and you're so scared of what's to come, I want you to embrace it. I want you to embrace the uncertainty instead of pushing back against it. I want you to understand that if you let this change take place, only good can come from it. There is only a better version of you on the other side of this. It's only when we refuse the change, when we go against the grain, that it ends up hurting us. Because when you are refusing the change, when you are refusing to see this through, when you are not allowing life to take its course, when you are constantly begging people to stay in your life, when you are constantly grasping onto things that are trying to leave your life, when you are forcing things, when you are putting a fucking triangle shape into a circle shape. You know what I mean? Like when you are forcing things that are clearly not aligning anymore, that's when you're doing yourself more harm. That is when you are not letting yourself learn the lessons that are supposed to be learned through this time. You are not allowing yourself to transform and grow. You're not allowing your life to transform because you think your life is better the way it is, the way it's always been, instead of the way it could be on the other side of change. And you are wrong for thinking that. I'll tell you that. You are wrong to think that what's on the other side of this shift is worse. That what's on the other side of this shift is going to put you in a worse position than you're in. I'm telling you, what's on the other side of this shift is only going to benefit you. What's on the other side of this shift is only going to transform you if you let it. And hear my words, if you let it. Because there are some of you who have gone through these same types of shifts, these same types of losses, these same types of changes. And because you have not learned what you were supposed to be learning through these shifts and through these changes, you have constantly met the same exact circumstance over and over and over again. You have constantly met the same exact hardship over and over and over again. And not only have you met the same hardship, but you continue to not do the work after. You continue to not do the inner reflection. So you are continuing to be the same exact fucking person you were before. That's why you probably think that change only causes pain. That loss is only going to cause you pain instead of growth and transformation, because you've been through it before and all you got out of it was depression, suffering, and just wanting to crawl back to what wasn't supposed to be in your life anymore. You never allowed yourself to see past that, beyond that. You never trusted yourself enough to know that you are stronger than this and that you can see this through, that there is something else better for you at the end of this. You can't reap the benefits of this shift in your life unless you are acquiring and taking in the lessons that are being presented to you during this time. I want you to start building mental resilience, because instead of just going through the hardship and recovering, that's not all this is. Resilience means not only going through the hardship, but coming back even better. And that's what you need to cultivate. Knowing that not only are you going to get through this hardship, not only are you going to go through this uncertainty, but you're going to come back from this even better. You're going to upgrade yourself and you're going to upgrade your life, and everyone else is going to see that. Everyone else is going to notice that. I want you to realize that the pain you're going through, the uncertainty you're going through, is able to create something better in your life. That it doesn't have to be this ongoing pattern of letting yourself succumb to the suffering. You don't have to let yourself down spiral. You can create something better from this. And I'm just speaking from experience, because when I was at my lowest point, I just couldn't understand all the good that was going to come out of it. There are so many aspects of my life right now that I would just not have if I didn't go through those extremely hard times, if I didn't go through those really huge shifts in life, those really hard times of uncertainty, those really big changes. Like I said, it's like a butterfly effect. Like, I look back, and if I didn't go through that certain situation, if I didn't lose those certain people and those certain connections, I wouldn't have many things that I have right now. I wouldn't have ever started martial arts, which is a huge aspect of my life. I wouldn't have ever started this podcast. I wouldn't have ever made the friends that I have today. A lot of my life would look so fucking different if those changes in my life didn't take place, if I didn't lose those certain people, if I didn't lose those certain connections. I start to realize that my life only fell apart so that it can rebuild itself, but even better. I want you to get to the point where you start to realize that your life can fall apart many, many times. You can lose a lot of things that you thought were going to be in your life forever. But these things that happen, these unfortunate circumstances that unfold, are only going to make your life 10 times better, are only going to allow you to build more character, more resilience, and more strength. I want you to get to the point where I'm at, where every time you face a big shift, every time you face a loss or a hardship, that you almost get excited because you know that an upgrade is coming, that you know that you are going to do something really, really beneficial with the pain you're going through. I almost feel bad for the people who wronged me, or the people who caused me a lot of pain, because those people give me fuel to cultivate a better version of myself. Those people get to sit back and watch how much I used that pain to fuel me, to just upgrade the fuck out of my life. And I want that for you. I want you to stop being scared of change. I want you to stop being scared of uncertainty. I want you to embrace it. Embrace the change. Embrace the pain you're going through and understand that it's for a reason. Don't shy away from the pain. Use that energy inside of you. Use those hard emotions you're going through and cultivate something better for your life. I want you to get so fucking tired of feeling defeated. I want you to get so fucking tired of letting yourself suffer and continuously victimizing yourself. Once you get out of that mindset, there's freedom on the other side, I'm telling you. Because sometimes things are gonna knock you down, life is gonna knock you down, people are gonna screw you over. But it's your choice if you want to stay knocked down. It's your choice if you want to allow this pain to keep you stagnant. And if there's one thing about me, I will never allow hardships to keep me stagnant. I refuse to let myself stay defeated. I refuse to believe that something better won't come out of my pain. I believe wholeheartedly that on the other side of pain and hardship is transformation. I allow the pain I go through to ignite a fire in me that never goes out. And that fire is what allows me to dive into my passions head on, to only cultivate better for myself, to begin up-leveling, transforming, growing, and getting what I deserve. And I want nothing more than for you to attain this way of living. Because remember, change is constant. The more you fear it, the more you're going to suffer in this life. Embrace the change, embrace the pain that comes with change, and allow it to create something better for you. Trust that although unfortunate circumstances happen, although you lose connections, you lose things in life, life isn't against you. These things just happen. Instead of viewing this change and these shifts in this negative lens, start to view these changes as an opportunity. Start to use it to show yourself how much you can go through, how much you can handle, and not only handle, but use it to create something good for you. The more you fear change, the more you're gonna settle for less. The more you're gonna stay where it's comfortable. The more you're gonna go against the grain of life. And we all know where that leaves you. We all know how that ends up when you go against the grain. If you want a life of anxiety, if you want a life of always attaching yourself to everything you have currently, go ahead, stay scared of change. Don't embrace change. But if you actually want to take control of your life, if you actually want to feel independent, if you actually want to feel strong and resilient, embrace change. Don't fear it. Use the change life throws at you, use the shifts and obstacles you go through to build trust within yourself that no matter what you go through, you will always be okay. And not only okay, you will be better than okay. Not only will you get through it, but that you'll cultivate something better from it. And once you develop that mindset, you will never be scared to lose things or lose people. You will never attach yourself to any of the things you have. You won't settle for less. You won't settle for mediocrity. You won't stay where you're undervalued because you're not afraid of change. You're not afraid to shift. You're not afraid to move differently if you need to. And that's what makes a powerful person. A person who isn't scared of change, who isn't scared of uncertainty, who knows that they'll be okay no matter what because they trust themselves to get through hardships. I'm going to end this episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Go ahead and leave me comments on other things you guys would like me to talk about in future episodes. Go ahead and DM me. If you guys ever need advice on anything, my DMs are open. Go ahead, say it in the comments. I'm always down to hear about your guys' lives, to help you in any way I can. Go ahead and leave me other suggestions on what other topics you guys would like me to talk about in the future. And I will leave my socials in the description. If you guys want to see more of me, go ahead, follow me on Instagram and follow me on TikTok. And I will see you guys in the next episode.